Thank you for having the opportunity to present PHAIDRA. Um, Good afternoon to you all, and I was following a little bit the presentations was quite nice, and I'm always also very happy that I can refer to some of the things what already have been presented. So for those who are not familiar with PHAIDRA, PHAIDRA is a repository which was built at the University of Vienna, and it's quite old. So this was one of our first screens what we had done. No, yes, I got the wrong picture, but anyway, it looks like quite the same. In 2008, we went live on April 2008, and we go with Fedora 3.6. The idea was we use Fedora in the backend, but really put some middleware and front end on top of Fedora. And we want to have a repository for our university and just for our university. And yes, and we have been quite successful. That successful that we got a lot of new partners. And for these, we had some challenging because, when you build something for your own institution and you do it quite fast, it's not that nice how it's developed. And then other institutions came and want to adopt this. You run onto into some technical problems. That's why PHAIDRA looks even 2016, the same like 2008. But in the background, a lot of things happened. We rebuilt everything beside of Fedora. We still have been on Fedora 3.8, so we have been for a very long time on Fedora. But we focus very much on the community and what they need from the community perspective, from the features. So we have done a lot of things in different kind of digital objects. So in our case, a digital object is something like a book, a picture, or a video. We implemented some viewers also with these, and in this case also we had some um, things like a container objects where we get more complex objects in it, where we can also serve these needs, what we have seen today from the colleagues from the Czech Republic, that we have very complex objects from the humanities. So, because also some of our partners are from art university and they have diverse interests also in different kind of objects and how to work with the repository. These have been all in the background and nothing happened in the front as a lot. But then finally we could manage, so around 2017, 2018, to also build a new interface, user interface. But we still have this University of Vienna approach. In this case, because we stick to the University Vienna corporate design very much. But also thinking of the community, from the background, we changed also a lot of things that you can put any kind of user interface on top of an API, because also our user interface is just a reference, just sitting on the API, and you can easily change this. More or less, a lot of people a lot of our partners stick with these user interface. And again, we are very technical. We focus a lot of doing in the background. And now we are going to getting in a modern way also what the development is. So we are now on Fedora 6, and in the background, everything is containerized. And the next step will then be going to Kubernetes as well. So we are very soon, so hopefully in beginning of next year, in production on an OpenShift server. Uh, but back to the community. This is a community talk, and so we the community aspect happens to us because other institutions ask us back, 2008, 2009, 2010. There haven't been so many repositories out there as you have it today. And so the people ask us, and we also participate in some other projects together. And then PHAIDRA spread over 5 countries. So we are with our repository in 5 different countries. And this is a quite old Phaedra community page. This is Phaedra.org. It's also around 2012, 2013, around this. Um, Putting all our partners on this side. We are growing, and so it's not possible anymore to have this nice circle, and that you can see all our partners in this circle with a picture in the front page. Um, and I think this is because we always focused on our community and communicate with them and talking not only about repositories, mainly we're talking about data management and what does it mean to do data management. In this sense, we also upgraded now our community website, and we are now going fully open source. So what does it mean? So open source, it was always open source in the sense that we had on our source code an open source license on it. But being fully open source also mean to serve to grow a community and to build features that the community can dock on and can develop also some other features. That's why we are um, did everything with an API. So the API is a strong way how we develop PHAIDRA. And also now we are going to have community management more. We are doing also a PHAIDRA con, so annual conference. This year, this conference happened in Italy in one of our partners' university. It's was in Padua. And there we also don't focus not only on the repository on PHAIDRA, we focus very much in data management because this is what our communities goes for. This is why they are using a repository, and PHAIDRA is just one of the solutions. And also we are going more for communicate in a way of a digital heritage in the sense of you have digital data, and this is a kind of heritage as well. We want to broaden up the term because we have been very narrow with research data and research data management, and all the museums and also people from art universities don't find them really in the term of research data management. That's why we want to broaden up this term and talking about really on data management, on born digital materials, digital heritage, and so on and so on. So that's more or less what I want to present today. on the website. I think Aaron will help me with this. So there is the PHAIDRA org. This is the community site. Then we have also a community forum. This is PHAIDRA community. And then we have also PHAIDRA at the University of Vienna. You can see PHAIDRA in action, how it works. This is one of the largest installation, of course, that's our own, and we have very diverse materials in it. And here are some other links. So you can find us also on GitHub. You can download PHAIDRA on GitHub, the whole container version. And if you like it, please put a star on this. That's help also the whole project. We have a podcast all about data management. That's Epistemic Cast. And also we are on LinkedIn. So if you like, you can also find us on LinkedIn. And these are my contact informations. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Raman. Any questions? We probably have a minute or two for some questions if people are interested. Yes, Keon.
Hi, I'm from University of Maryland. So we also develop our custom interface for the Fedora. So I checked one of the PHAIDRA interface and I was very impressed by the design. But I have a very simple question. So in your interface, the best list is on the right side. So most of
Yes.
the website have it on the left. Do you have any like a reason to put on the right side?
Yes. So the main reason was we stick to the university corporate design. And we had a designer back then that put it on the other side as you're used to do it. But we will have a redesign at the moment, so it will also will become a new phase. So will become a new interface very soon as well. And we are now going more to response and fully accessible for these also because in Europe we have to meet the some accessible regulations. So for these, the new design will go in this way.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, well, thank you, Raman, for joining so late in your evening. It was always good to hear from PHAIDRA community, so
Thank you.
thanks. All right, up next, we have Heather from Samvera. And I do know there she is. I was going to say I saw her.
Hello. Let me get my slides shared
For
here.
sure. All right, you should be good to go.
Great. Well, yeah, hi folks. I'm Heather Greer-Klein. I'm the community manager for the Samvera community, and I know you've heard from folks in the Samvera community already yesterday and today. I'm just gonna give you a short update just on what's happened this year in the Samvera community and some of the things we're thinking about as we look to next year. So just to touch on technology. We had some noteworthy platform releases. These are our 3 platforms that are all make their home in the Samvera community. Avalon Media System, Hyrax, and Haiku, which is built on top of Hyrax. So all include many folks who are in the Fedora community. I feel very lucky. I get to talk to Aaron a lot. We have so much overlap in our communities, and it's just really nice to be able to bounce ideas off of each other and talk through things. So I'm happy to be able to share with you folks. But yes, we have a release candidate coming up for Haiku. We have a lot of activity happening this year. We also have some other components and things that aren't repository platforms, but that also make their home in the Samvera community, including RAMP and Bulk Racks and serverless IIIF. Those all live under the Samvera umbrella. We did a fair bit of community development effort this year. We have a community sprint coming up the first week in December to tackle some accessibility issues and some technical analyses and documentation. We've really tried to focus on documentation this year. I know there's been something similar that folks have done in Fedora. I think it's sort of a perennial problem, and we have a documentation interest group now, and we're doing dedicated, especially in the summer months, documentation days, and it's starting to make an impact. Like, it's really starting to help us have some up-to-date documentation. And we have a maintenance working group that's really thinking about maintenance for the platforms every 2 weeks. So in the community, this is sort of our our overall community role structure. All of these things kind of work together to keep all of the Samvera platforms and things moving forward. And our focus over the last year has really been on documentation, as I said, thinking more about onboarding and thinking about mentorship and connecting folks to others who have similar use cases, similar problems, and similar sort of migrations and so forth. And sort of reflecting back on that, we've had a lot of activity come out of that documentation interest group. We had a Hyrax Haiku developer training camp for the first time since before the pandemic that we were able to offer that. So now we have some updated developer training. So we're looking at how to do more of that next year. We have cross-platform roadmap planning now because all of our platforms, while different, all have different ways that they can work together and develop things together. And we're trying to align that really tightly so that all of our effort is moving in the same direction. There's a grant that's active on the Haiku side looking at community leadership roles. And we've done a lot around our Slack channels to make it easier for folks who are new to the community to join. Everyone is welcome, especially in our interest groups. Those are easy things to drop in and out of if you've got any interest in seeing what's going on in the Samvera community. You're always welcome to join these groups. We have a calendar for their meetings on samvera.org and in our Samvera wiki, and we do a lot of work in our Slack. One other thing that we've started doing this year is the core repository directory, international repository directory. Is an attempt to have all of the directory, or excuse me, all of the repositories across the world in one directory. And Samvera, the Samvera community is managing all of the Samvera community listings here. This is going to be our source of truth for all Samvera repositories. So I recommend folks check it out. Make sure that your repository is there and is up to date, because I think this is going to become a really important tool for all of us. And then sort of looking ahead, our community focus for next year is a lot of focus on financial sustainability, a focus on increasing our investment in shared staffing. We really feel like having centralized staff, as you have with Aaron and Dan, really benefits everyone who's using community software. And we're also looking at new community touch points and ways that we can talk together and collaborate and do virtual events. So we're looking at changing the way that our Samvera partnership works, which is sort of our version of a membership program, looking at ways that folks using our software can donate without having to be a partner. And we're also going to move to a new fiscal sponsor. Our fiscal sponsor right now is Oasis Open, and they have shared with us that they think that we could save money on our overhead by moving. So in coordination with them, and very grateful to them, we're just looking at some other options. We're also going to have some technical coordination that our community hasn't had in quite this way before. We're going to have a contract technical coordinator that's going to combine the tech lead roles for Hyrax and Haiku next year. Those two platforms are working so closely together and are so aligned now. We think they'd really benefit from some joint technical coordination, and the current Haiku tech lead is going to take over that role next year. So we've got some success metrics and some goals for that role, and we really want to see that role become something that we can sustain beyond next year. So all of our financial work will be towards making this a more permanent position. And then we're looking for the right in-person opportunities. We're looking at regional meetings and conference meetups for next year. And I've talked to Erin about that a little bit too, if we're going to be looking for any opportunity where if folks are already coming together, maybe we can make it easy for folks to attend both a Fedora and a Samvera community meeting, for example. So more information to come on that. We're going to be looking at new types of virtual events as well. So thank you very much. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm also in the Fedora Slack and always happy to chat.
Thank you so much, Heather. Any questions for Heather? Awesome. I feel like everybody is kind of not spoiling, but I have like a what else we do and like what's coming next presentation tomorrow, which we've given it all away. But I guess mine will be like a condensed version. It'll be the Coles Notes version. But that's great. All right. Well, thank you, Heather, for joining us. Thank you. I do have a recorded session from Aubrey Shanahan. So
hi, everyone. I am so glad to be a part of the Fedora Showcase for the first time. My name is Aubrey Shanahan. I am the community manager for Islandora. I just came aboard this year, basically around April, and have been really enjoying getting to know our community and our users and just Islandora itself. It's been a really wonderful first few months in my role. And part of that role has been planning for 2025 to 2026. And so I just wanted to share a brief update with you all today about some of the progress that's been made. I'll be covering a lot of what we covered at Islandora Con. So if you were at Islandora Con, there might be a little overlap, but this has some new information, some new updates, and a little call to action at the end. So I'll get started. So I wanted to have some strategic themes to guide our plan for the next year. So we have fostering growth in our community and our technology, strengthening collaboration, sharing the workload, and cultivating sustainability. So searching for ways to support our ecosystem. So within fostering growth, we have a few things. Obviously, this is a little bit of a crowded slide, but we have the case studies that we have started working on. So I have built out a framework for case studies that will hopefully allow potential new users to see themselves using Islandora. These are going to be either text-based or video interviews on how folks have implemented, utilized, and maintained their Islandora instances. So we're just getting that off the ground, which has been great. And then we have the installation map and showcase. We finished the first phase of that, which includes reviewing it for accuracy, looking through, clicking all the sites, making sure that they're active and correct. We still have some work to do on it, but hopefully we will be moving on to the next phase, kind of updating, giving it a fresh look, that sort of thing, and also creating off of that a user showcase. We have the website additions and update, which is also in progress. So it's a comprehensive review to make sure that all of our information on our website is clear and concise and up to date. There is still quite a bit of work that we have to do on this, but we're working to create new pages for things like our new communities, the case studies, and the user showcase. And we're going to be looking at how our website kind of works within our contemporaries as well. And accessibility is a big part of that too. I want to make sure that we are providing an accessible experience. We are looking into our membership right now. So we're looking to kind of review what is offered within that. That's happening with the membership committee, which I'll touch on in a little bit. And we'll be hoping to start regular trainings and webinars later this quarter or into quarter three. I didn't say at the beginning, but the quarters basically for Islandora starts in July and goes through the year that way. So that's when I say quarter two, we're just started quarter two this month. So fostering growth continued. This one is big for me. We have removing barriers to entry. So one of the things that's really important to me is improving the experience for new users coming into Islandora, folks that are coming in independently without a vendor. So we've created the adoption working group for this. We had our first meeting recently and it was incredible. It was a great brainstorming session. We learned a lot from each other, and we are working to make a plan for this next like 6 months to a year there. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But the things that go along with the adoption working group in removing barriers to entry include things like refining our starter site/sandbox site, quick start documentation, and best practices documentation. In strengthening collaboration, we have in-person opportunities, which are in progress. So we've begun plans for the return of camps, and we're going to explore group meetups for external conferences. I'm actually coming to you from DLF right now, which has been fantastic to actually meet some of the folks I've been talking to over Zoom for the past few months. So we're looking to include more experiences like that going forward. And communication updates are also in progress. So that's going to be a quarterly newsletter that's covering events, news, community features, that sort of thing. And we're looking to update the rest of our communication channels as well. Looking ahead a little bit, educational partnerships and mentorships are hopefully going to be on our horizon as we work with universities to get them and their students equipped with Islandora and hopefully bring up the next generation of librarians and archivists into Islandora. And the last thing on here is community sprints. So that's something that we'll be working with our roadmap committee on. We're hoping to increase that technical collaboration as well. For cultivating sustainability, all of these things are really always ongoing. So grant applications, that's part of our membership and funding committee that's new. We have supporting and promoting interest groups, of course. Monitoring involvement requirements is important to me, making sure that our community requirements for interest groups, committees, leadership group are reasonable and are working for current members. And finally, there's the roadmap committee, which is also ongoing. So within that, these are the new committees. Roadmap is incredibly important in terms of making strides on defining the first version of a roadmap in our first few meetings. We completed a survey of the community on initial priorities and are kind of working to blend that into the group's priorities so we make something that works for the community at large. The events committee has also been meeting, so we are planning to return to camps next year. At least we'll have one camp, and we're looking forward to the 20th anniversary IslandoraCon in 2027. For the membership committee, this committee is beginning to review our offerings, as I mentioned, and identify those funding opportunities for the project. We've also added 2 working groups. The Workbench working group is one that I haven't talked about yet, but that group is identifying activities essential for upkeep for Workbench and is trying to kind of spread that work to other community members. It's all been on Mark Jordan's shoulders, and we're looking to kind of spread that out to the wider community. And finally, the adoption working group, we're looking to remove barriers to entry and create a work plan for the next 6 months to a year with that. As I mentioned previously, I'm really excited about that group. I think we've got some great work ahead. And I have to plug, of course, our existing committees and interest groups. So we have the technical advisory group, which chairs the weekly tech call. We have the documentation committee, which works on our documentation. Metadata works on our metadata solutions. And super important, code of conduct committee oversees and updates the code of conduct for the Islandora community, including reviewing and managing any incidents that are reported. And lastly, on here, we have the LAC-GLAM interest group, which covers a wide variety of topics relating to glam and outside of it. Honestly, there's such a great group and such a great part of our community. So if you're ever interested in kind of sharing what you're doing, especially on the technical side of things, maybe you have some interesting solution on how you handle something, LAC-GLAM's a great place to share that. So we would love it if you are interested to join a committee, a working group, or an interest group. We really want to kind of rejuvenate the community and get more folks involved. So if any of these sound interesting to you, please email me at aubrey@islandora.ca or reach out via Slack if you're interested in joining one of our many committees. Now is a really exciting time for Islandora. It is a time of growth and development and change. And it's the perfect time if you've ever been kind of a fringe on the outskirts and you'd like to make your voice heard or have an impact on the wider community. This is a perfect opportunity to do so. And we hope to see you there. Thanks so much, and feel free to connect with me personally via email, Slack, or on LinkedIn. Appreciate it and enjoy the rest of the showcase.
Okay, awesome. Thank you to all of our presenters for today and for yesterday. I think we're off to a great start.